Hello, everyone, and welcome to OutSummit 2021. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. I'm Rikki Nathanson, the Senior Advisor of the Global Trans Program here at Outright Action International. I am joined today by the fabulous and incredible Bebe Zahara Benet, who is the winner of the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Bebe's here along with Emily Branham to speak about their new documentary, Being Bebe. And we'll give you a little teaser.
I'm just a male who can perform the duties which are generally allocated for the female sex.
Bebe Zahara Benet is with us, and you know she won the first RuPaul's Drag Race.
Je t'ai dit, non, c'est que les Camerounais.
It was just God's gift to the world.
God's gift to us first, then the world.
Yeah.
I traveled many miles away from my family and friends to pursue a dream, and I will not stop until I've reached the end of my journey.
Isn't it so interesting, like how beautiful I looked back then, and then now even like way more beautiful? No, I'm joking.
Welcome, Bebe and Emily.
Hi, Rikki!
Hi.
So good to be with you.
We can jump straight into the interview, and I'll go across to you, Bebe. So just to say, it requires a lot of vulnerability and trust to allow a documentary film to be made about you. Why did you decide to allow Emily to follow you around and help tell your story, starting way back in 2006?
Well, I mean, Emily and I, 2006 is what, 2006? Oh my gosh, that feels like years ago, but Emily and I, we were working on a very short film, and that's, I mean, if we have a lot of time, we'll talk about how that process was. But, you know, she was documenting me going to a national pageant because many years ago, when you wanted to be known in the community in terms of your artistry, you go to this national pageants and you compete, and then that's how your name gets out and you're known as the kind of artist that you want to be known as. And Emily documented my process going to Dallas to, you know, shoot me running for this national pageant. But in that journey, we built such a relationship, and we started building some trust, and we really discovered there was a lot in my story other than just the pageants, just from conversations and really, you know, personal conversations about my life, what I wanted to do as an artist, what my dreams were, where I come from, my history, my culture, tradition, family, everything. And we just knew that there was just so much there that we had to say and tell and let the world just get to experience my journey, because I was coming from a different point of view, and hopefully it was going to inspire someone, or, you know, answer some questions or whatever it would do. Like, it would help, you know, do something, you know, in the world, at least my story, sharing it. So I trusted the woman and I built a great relationship with her. And I was like, okay, let's do this.
Great, thank you. And so how did it make you feel connecting with the LGBTQI activists back in Cameroon when you were making the film?
Oh my God, it was just a lot of emotions. I was privileged. My heart was warm. I felt so humbled. And when I use the word privilege, you know, it's like I'm here in America, and, you know, we can live our lives in America. We can dream, and we can be the artists that we want to. And there's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to LGBTQIA issues. But back in Cameroon, back in Africa, back in that continent, there's still so much oppression. There's so much work that still has to be done. And, you know, just being able to talk to these youths and seeing that in spite of all the hardships that you're going through, they can still smile, they can still dream, they can still hope, there is still aspiration. It just warmed my heart, but it also gave me so much, you know, it just gave me to want to do more, to want to be more, even way more active, and to be able to just help the continent and bring that privilege also back to the continent. So it was such a privilege. It really was.
Right.
But there's a lot of work to be done.
Perfect. And I noticed that you don't put any labels on your gender identity or
I
sexuality.
don't.
No, you do not. And why is that, may I ask?
Because I am human, Rikki. I am just a human being. I don't put any labels. And I've always been that way, And people might wonder why, is it that I'm scared to say this? I've never had a coming out story. That's the honest to God's truth. I've never had a coming out story. I do believe that nobody should have a coming out story. I feel like there shouldn't even be a coming out story. Now, I do respect people who have to identify as one thing and have to be labeled as one thing or need to have a coming out story. I respect that. But for me personally, I don't. I am a human being put here on this earth to live the human experience and to just be a human being, love who I want to love, and live this life called humanity. And I feel like once we start looking at each other as equal, if we're asking for equal rights and we're asking to be seen as equals, then we have to treat each other and look at each other as equal. And that means just being human with no labels. The other side is not having any labels. Why should we have labels? That's how I look at it. I'm just Marshall, aka Bebe, and I just want to be treated exactly how I am treating you.
Thank you so much. I'm now going to move across to Emily, pardon me, and I want to know from you. So you've been doing this documentary, putting this together for 15 years. What impact do you hope that this film will have on the lives and the human rights of LGBTIQ people globally, and not only in Cameroon?
Yeah, I have been working on it for 15 years. There has been something to Bebe's story that I knew was important, and I couldn't always articulate why, but something really kind of came together when we did go to Cameroon and filmed with the LGBT youth and activists there and got to know more about their stories and the overlap between their stories and Bebe's story. And I just knew that their stories would inspire people just as much as Bebe's, and that also Bebe's family goes on a really important journey in the film. And I feel like the way that they model their journey to acceptance and understanding is just such a beautiful thing that other people, I think, could learn from as well. So we wanted to bring the film to OutSummit. We wanted to offer a free private virtual screening to OutSummit attendees and friends of the conference, because we just believe that the film could do a lot of good, along with the good that the people at OutSummit are doing in terms of trying to promote human rights, fight for, the important human rights needs of everybody around the world. And so we thought that the film could be of service, of inspiration, of entertainment, and of value, particularly to you all. So I wanted to, invite you all to bring your own ideas to who else might be served by the film and ways you could make it useful in the work that you're doing. So visit beingbebemovie.com/outright to register for the screening, the free private virtual screening that we'll be having early next year. And I'm sure we'll send follow-up emails to make sure that you don't miss out on it, because it's an offering that we have in gratitude for all of the important work that the OutSummit attendees are doing.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much, Bebe. I'd like to thank you both for taking the time out to chat with us mere mortals. But in closing, I have a very interesting line that I got from your story, from your documentary, Bebe. Your mother said, if God did not want him to do those things, he would not have put it in him. And that touched my heart profoundly, and I hope it touches the hearts of everybody who has the chance of seeing this interview and who watches your film. I encourage everybody to go along to the free screening. It's amazing. You will not regret it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rikki.